live. This is Iflowboy, and it's a Saturday night here in Brisbane, approximately 10 to 9 my time. We're of course joined by my cool co-host Jon-Nic. G'day, John.
G'day, g'day.
And of course for John, he's an hour in front of us, so if he starts to yawn, you'll know why. It's 10 to 10 down in Victoria. And today we are doing a car show. John is hosting a car show, and it's only just opened, so the room is beginning to fill up. So we're going to see some, I guess, some interesting liveries. We'll probably see some download liveries. We'll probably unveil a couple of liveries that we've both created over the last week or two. I don't know how long the car show will last for, but you know, if it goes well, it could be a 2-hour car show, but we may not stick around for that long. We may go and do something else like a rollathon, or get into some role-play rooms, do some racing. Who knows? We don't have a specific format tonight, but probably what we will do is we'll probably pick up and talk about some of the stuff we talked about last night. We were having a great conversation with one of our friends, Swanee, and we were actually talking about the whole aspect of when you share your livery, the interesting phenomenons that happen in terms of people liking them and sharing them. So we might have a bit more of a talk about that. I don't know whether Swanee will join in into the room, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, for now we've got to pass it over to John so he can let us know what category we're going to run with, and then we'll take it from there.
Fair enough. I think we'll make it fairly common. We'll just start off with a Group 3 category, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
Alright, so Cat is...
So while John's doing that, Group 3 is a racing category for anybody that's watching this broadcast and has absolutely no idea about PlayStation Gran Turismo Sport or indeed motorsport in general. It's a rather modified category of car where effectively the road car is stripped out, panels are stripped off, roll cages are put in, all sorts of interesting panels are attached, and a lot of downforce parts are attached to the car to help its handling, and obviously a substantial amount of work is done to the engine and the drivetrain and the suspension as well to ensure that it's a very fast car. I've got a brand new, in fact I've got a couple of brand new liveries, so I may bring out I'll bring out one of them now, and in actual fact, and John's room settings of course have caught me out. We have happened to actually we've happened on a good formula. John, tell everybody about this formula you've come up with to avoid undesirables coming into our car shows.
Well, basically it's just set up to, well, not avoid, but at least deter all the rubbish that occurs in a car show. It's very common for people to come into a car show with the incorrect car and just not participate in the car show. They do their own thing. They do hot laps or drifting in front of the car show and be sort of a bit reckless in front of the field and clean people up. So basically what I've done is maximise the amount of fuel degradation or fuel burn rate, so you actually burn out the tank of fuel in about 40 seconds. So it deters people from actually trying to do a hot lap or a drift around the show area. Other factors I've used is things like I've avoided ABS brakes, and people can't do big dive bombs or anything like that because no one races without ABS because no one likes it. Just stuff like that. Oh, and I maximised the type of tyre as well. I've used the stickiest tyre only, so if you've got a car that's not particularly powerful, it won't be able to have the horsepower to do a big burnout or a drift in front of everyone.
So I kind of just out a barrel as they tried to do drifting. Sorry to interrupt you there.
That's alright.
I think you know, again, the you know, we do a lot of car shows obviously because we create a lot of liveries, and when you do a lot of car shows, the frequency of what I call undesirable people coming into the room, and that is people that are actually not there for the car show at all. They see the room and they think, oh, there's a good opportunity for me to go and show people I can drift, or I can do burnouts, or the worst ones are those that come in to try and smash into all the cars in the lineup in the hope, I think, that they'll be chased. It seems to be quite a common practice, and we've just got to a point where we're absolutely sick of it. And a lot of the guys that we know that create liveries and that are regularly in car shows with us are also sick and tired of it. So John has come up with a pretty good formula, which seems to make it really hard for those sorts of people to come into the room and disrupt the show, because that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid people getting annoyed and leaving the car show. They come in here to show off their liveries. They don't come in here to be targets or to have people doing burnouts in front of them. So that's the rationale behind why we have the settings. And I noticed somebody's already put a comment up there about, it's a car show, why do you have something turned on? But we've already explained why, and we don't really need to explain to somebody that's in the room why, but if we need to, we will. I'm going to just do a bit of a drive, just so we can have a look at some of the liveries. Rookie, some of you may know from previous broadcasts, he's a friend of ours, and he races with us, and he's got an Aston Martin livery right there. There's a McLaren F1 Fina livery, a Lamborghini Aventador, a bog standard Honda NSX Group 3 livery, and we'll talk about that in a second. An interesting Lamborghini Countach, and a Nissan R35, which is not a Group 3 car.
No, I think that's actually just a standard car.
Japanese guy may not have understood the English, don't know, but
I think he actually may have entered the room after the cat was called out, so we'll let him go. He's obviously he's doing the right thing. He's sitting there waiting.
That's right, he's not causing trouble or anything. I will put an announcement up that we are broadcasting on YouTube in case any of the people in the room want to watch. Hit the wrong button, my bad. Sorry, folks.
Oh, someone likes one of my notifications.
Yeah, I mentioned that there was a what I called a bog standard Honda NSX GR3 livery in the lineup. Interesting that we do continue to get people coming into car shows displaying the standard livery that you can buy out of the what's called Brand Central. Usually that's a sign that a person hasn't been in a car show before. And it's we find it amusing at a certain level, but it's also an opportunity for us to perhaps educate that person so that they do understand what car shows are about, and hopefully encourage them to go and start creating their own liveries. Geez, I'm having trouble here getting the right words out as I'm typing and talking. Pardon me, everyone. There it is. That's what I was looking for. Do you want to just choose a category on my behalf while I'm doing this?
Yep. Actually, I might get second place to do it.
Yeah, cool.
They're the rules, so...
Thumbs here as I'm trying to type. to save this message, I think. Alright, copy that. Done and post. Cat, is anything before 1980? Well, I better go and jump in something that's earlier than 1980. How's your day been, John? Anyway, we haven't talked about your weekend so far. Anything exciting happening?
No, not really. I mean, I went to the parents' house for lunch, which was just a smorgasbord of food, really. So, Cat, is anything before 1980? Yeah, so it was quite a big lunch, but it was all good. So all the immediate family were there, and of course the two siblings have just recently got married, so, and they're both going to be expected parents. So
well, they didn't muck around.
No, plenty of chatter. So
very good, eh, Uncle John? You have to start learning the tricks of the trade, mate. You know, burping babies, cuddling babies.
Pig's ass. Not touch them till they're at least 25. Then I'll associate with them.
You say that now.
What are we going to have? You know what? Just... change of tires.
So I'm in a 2416 Ferrari, folks, and I've tried to do a period suitable livery. I don't know whether I've succeeded. Certainly the primary colours and the use of older style decals. Who was second, by the way?
Drifter.
Okay, cool. So, yeah. I didn't know that Audi was before 1980. Is it before 1980? I'm sure it's after 1980.
I think Rookie's actually just read the thing a little bit incorrectly.
Oh, Willie guy's in here. Committed a cardinal sin. I just ate a Malteser while we're broadcasting. Probably not the best thing to do when you're trying to talk.
Just excuse me, just gonna go offline for a sec.
No problem. I'm going to go for a bit of a drive along and have a look at the cars. Give everybody a bit of a bo peep. We've got a very different mix of cars this time because it's not one category. We've got an Audi Quattro just there, and I've got two witches hats in front of me, so I'll move out of the way. We've got an old Volkswagen Beetle, a Challenger, I think that was, a GT40 Mark 1, an RX500 Mazda, and one of my favourite cars in the game, which if anybody's watched previous broadcasts know, is a Chevrolet Nova 1967, I think. And that one's been done quite nicely in a pink chrome with gold rims. Not bad at all. That rotary looks almost standard, but he has actually done a modification. He has done a livery. He's done a Jack Daniels delivery truck. That's actually a very good concept. I'm impressed with that. GT40 is in, you know, what is probably its most famous livery spec, that Golf livery. The Dodge Challenger is, I think, an early NASCAR, I'm guessing, and the Beetle, yeah, I'm not sure about the Beetle, but it's obviously a theme of some sort. And then you've got John's car, which if I just let the judge go past, he's in another Nova, in a rusty Nova. John's in his Charger, which I think is a legitimate Gagan, one of the Australian race car drivers in the 70s and 60s. And that's the lineup. So that's the rust. They call that the rust effect. There's a lot of guys that do what you may have heard of as barn find state cars. So they've been put in a barn and forgotten, and the elements have, you know, got at them, and the paint has faded or rust has got in, and so there's quite a few livery designers that are in the game that have tried to effectively replicate that, and that Nova is one of the most popular Nova liveries in the game in terms of the number of people that have liked it. So it's definitely not Drifter's livery. Personally, I'm not a fan of the barn find or the rust type liveries, because to me they detract from the car, and my number one priority whenever I'm doing a car livery is to try and make the car look better, not look worse. So we've got second has been decided, which was the VW Beetle, and M. Shosbin has been awarded first. Now I think that was the Charger, so an interesting choice. There must be something in the car that the judge liked. I mean, you know, it's a nice enough livery. Certainly couldn't say it was a bad livery. There you go. I need to clean up these witches' hats because they're all over the place and they're causing havoc. Okay, let's do that. While we're waiting for the next category, let's do some housekeeping, as they say. So all I'm doing is trying to move the witches' hats out of the car show area in the barrels. I don't know how those barrels ended up over here, but there's another one. Mainly because people are doing those silly things that we talked about at the start of the broadcast that we try to prevent, so that the car show runs smoothly and without everybody getting upset. So I'm just moving. I thought it would slide further than that. Oops, got that wrong. By moving them out of the way, the hope is that people won't cause dramas. Oops. What's left? Just that one there, okay. Alright, I think we've now got a clean car show area, and I can go and change to my brand new safety car I think I'll bring out, which is a Mercedes, whoops, wrong button. This car right here, which you won't be able to see the sides of it, but if I show you the bonnet, then you'll be able to see what the design theme is. I talked before about people with brand central cars. One of the other things that we always try to do is discourage people from bringing in downloaded liveries into the car show, and people might find that odd because we share the liveries we create, but we don't share them so people can bring them into car shows. We share them so people can use them when they're driving in, say, a race, for example, or a role play, or in a cruise room. So that's why we share them, and it's also good for people to see them and maybe comment. So this one in particular, if I show you the bonnet, I know it's a bit hard to read from here, but it actually says download livery police. So the idea is that this vehicle is acting as a guardian to ensure that people in car shows are actually using their own self-made liveries. And on the back of the car, on the rear spoiler, which we can't see at the moment, if I change the view, you'll see there it says self-made is best. So yeah, we might talk a bit more about that when John returns, but effectively the whole idea of a car show is not to bring out a car or a livery that somebody else made or that you bought from Brand Central, because if it's a car that somebody else made, then we all have the capacity to go and look at it, and also to download it if we wanted to have it in our garage. Same with Brand Central livery, we could all go into Brand Central and buy that same livery. So there's no real point to bringing that into a car show. The whole idea of the car show is you make your own livery on any of the cars, and then you bring that car in when the category calls for it. And yeah. I don't know what this guy in the RX-7's doing, but if he doesn't behave himself, he won't be here for long. I finished this car literally about an hour before we started this car show. Started working on it today. It's not a complex livery. There were some things that were a little bit tricky to do, but not that tricky. So we'll go for a bit of a drive along and have a look at the other cars so you can see them. I think there's quite a few downloads in that lineup looking at those cars. The rookie is in a Brand Central. Now I don't know whether it is actually Brand Central or he's just made it to look exactly like the Brand Central car. I'm not sure if he has. I don't know that player, so I'm not sure if that's a download, but it could be. That police car there, it definitely looks like a download. Those two again could be, highly likely, being the 911 police car certainly looks like a download. I've seen that a number of times, but not with that particular player, so I suspect that's a download. So Ibo Massa with that livery, we might try and follow him, get a better look at it if we can. I think he might have just jumped into the pits. I think I saw him disappear off track. Yes, he did. Oh well, anyway. Again, the other thing too that you find with car shows, based on the experience of the person themselves, if they win a round, call them a round, their judging can often be interesting too, because they don't have the experience to wheelie guy, hi wheelie guy, Tokyo Expressway car show patrol. There you go, he's gone with a kind of similar theme. If I jump up here and maybe I can get a better view of his car. So there he says Tokyo Car Show Patrol. So we have kind of similar themes. I'm kind of worrying about there being downloaded liveries in the show. he's making sure that everybody behaves themselves in general in the show with that car. So there you go. And then obviously that first Mercedes is a safety car that's been done as a police car, a European police car basically. Polizzi, which would indicate it's probably Italian, maybe, but not 100% sure. There you go. Alright, well, let's jump into the pits and pick the next car, which will be a Porsche. Alright, so I'm going to bring out a really new livery. Those of you who watched the tribute broadcast that I did last Saturday will have seen this car. A very good friend of mine that I went to school with passed away sadly just on 4 weeks ago actually. It'll be 4 weeks ago tomorrow. Time does go so fast, and so obviously wanting to do something to pay tribute to him, I thought about all the things that I could do, and given that as per that broadcast he is a very much a car guy and loved Porsches, so I created this livery and basically put things on it that were about him. Sorry, that's just my car doing a wheelie as it comes out of the pits. I'll back off on the fuel. His nickname was Ace, that's what we always called him at school. And you may be able to make out the Fender logo on the roof just there. I don't know if I can get a better view of that. No. And also you'll see the guitars on the bonnet with a carving knife. They were Glenn's two pastimes that he was most passionate about, and so I created this Porsche livery a week and a half ago to commemorate his life. And I think he would have liked it. I know he'd probably say to me, "But Sean, it's not a 911 Turbo," because that was his favourite. But it's the closest I can get to in the game, unless I was to use that car that's just come into screen, the 1985, or two of them, the 1985 911 Turbo. But I decided to use the more current one on this occasion. So I see Rookie is in a what's called an RSR, which is a Group 3 car. I talked earlier about the Group 3 cars, and here you can see clearly that it's got a really big rear wing, really big front splitter or spoiler, really big rear diffuser that you can just see poking out the back there past the rear wheel, and obviously skirts down the side. The wheel arches are way more pronounced than the standard road car to house effectively wider axles, and in turn give the car a much more grippier capability, because the wheels are so much further out to the extremity of the normal weight within the car. And it's an interesting livery too. He looks to have used some effects there where he's maybe stretched some kind of decal or pattern to create a really wavy effect down the side of the car. And it's an interesting mix of colours too. To my left is one of those 1985 911 turbos, and it looks like what Morsigo, if I pronounce it correctly, has done is effectively tried to make the guards look like they've been bolted on and made wider than the standard car. That's a very common effect that's being used in liveries. It doesn't look too bad in that orange. Yeah, it's not bad at all. The category is Porsche, John, by the way. I'm not sure whether you're going to have time to come out with one, because I think he's already had a look-see, but
Oh, that's alright. I'll just buzz out and see what happens.
Yeah.
I can't stand Porsches anyway, so...
Yes, we know they're not your favourite, Mark, and I've just had
No.
somebody decide to pull right in next to me where there's no room, so I'll do the courteous thing and push him along. There isn't room here, buddy, so move.
Do we have an audience or any comments at all? Or?
Not at the moment.
No? So we're just talking in amongst ourselves?
Yeah, basically. That's okay.
That's alright. We do that quite a bit anyway.
I don't know why. Again, that sort of behaviour by ICU indicates they're not experienced at being in car shows. Anybody that creates their liveries and is experienced at car shows would never come and park into a gap that was that narrow like he did. The gap was there on purpose, and this guy's just pushed in basically. So that's a sign that they're not experienced, because if they were, they would never crowd into, like, basically how does the judge see the side of Rookie's livery when the ICU 2009 guy is parked where he is? It's impossible. So I'm going to follow Wheelie Guy because he's judging, and that'll give everybody a chance to look at all the Porsches. So we've got that pink turbo, so that's been a very popular car. There's 3 of them there. Then there's one like mine in the Troller. Then there's an RSR like the Rookies. Then there's a GR4 Cayman. Then another RSR that John is in. And then there's what I believe is a downloaded RSR Martini. Get the feeling that Drifter doesn't have any of his own liveries. I'm yet to see something that looks like it's not downloaded. In fact, I'm pretty confident every car he's bought out is downloaded. So the rule of thumb is in a car show that you leave at least half a car width between the cars. And that's the sort of person that we don't really want in our room. Comes in the wrong car and starts doing burnouts or whatever else.
Cat is your
dream car.
Let's see who dreams of a Gordini.
Dream car. Well, anybody that hasn't watched a broadcast before won't know, but they're about to know that my dream car is a McLaren P1.
My dream car isn't on here, so I'll just have to make one up, I suppose.
Yeah, for me, the P1 is the to me it's the pinnacle of technology applied to a car that you can register and drive on the road, but is ideally suited to the track. So the idea is you can jump in it, not necessarily drive it down to the shops, and certainly you can drive it over for a drive or, you know, to a track for a track day. And yeah, to me that's the ideal car. To turn my fuel down. JDM lovers buy here. Nice. I don't know what that means, but anyway. Drifter thinks Drifter's dream car is an R34 GTR. Interesting. Just noticed the judge's car is a JDM drift car. It's Supra too, not too dissimilar from my JDM from here anyway. But it is different, the paint colours are different. So John, I was talking before while you weren't on the mic about the real purpose of the car shows and what it typically means when somebody turns up in either a brand central livery or a downloaded livery. And I was saying to anybody that's watching the broadcast that the reality is we don't need those cars to be displayed because we've all got the ability to just go and look at them ourselves or buy them or download them ourselves. You know, I was kind of saying I don't understand the mentality of people that come into a car show with brand central liveries or with downloaded liveries. What are your theories on why they do it?
Now, brand central liveries, the only thing I can think of is that they actually don't understand or not experience in the car show side of the game. Maybe with something like the 787B, that car itself has a cult following. It's a very popular car. Maybe they just like that livery. I don't know. But as far as bringing in a downloaded livery, well, who knows? I mean, maybe they think we'll never know. Maybe they just don't care. I'm not too sure. So
I often wonder because when we do get people in the room and they have got a downloaded livery or they've got a brand central car or what we call a plain paint car, we do often get the comment that I'm no good at making liveries, and I just wonder if a lot of the people have either gone into the livery editor and really struggled with it, or they, without even trying, have reached the conclusion that it must be too tricky to do, and I don't want to spend my time doing it. I just want to drive a car around, so I'll just go and get a downloaded one or a brand central one with just normal paint.
I think now with the amount of content that's actually available in terms of liveries, I think a lot of it's just a case of, the car that I want, they probably, I'll use Australia for example, they probably want a late model or a current VO supercar livery with their dime a dozen. The DJR Mustang is the classic example, or a 888 Commodore is a classic example. There's a trillion of them out there. All you got to do is pick one you like and use it. You don't have to sort of go through the stress of, trying to find the specific decals and make sure the car, the livery suits that car and all that sort of stuff. You just grab one piece, grab the other piece, and sort of smack them together, and away you go.
Yeah, I like to think that for a lot of people it's because they just believe that creating a livery is too hard, and in that case the reality is, folks, that it isn't. It is obviously something that you do get better at with practice, but it's also something that you can intuitively learn. It's not a complex thing to do to go into the livery editor and use it. There are lots of people that actually bypass it to a certain degree by using computer graphics programs and then uploading decals which can effectively be stretched across the whole car. So there's lots of other things that they can do too, like making particular photos and things. So, but the livery editor tool itself is not a complicated thing to use as per se. It just takes practice and a certain level of patience, I guess, depending on how specific you want to be, how meticulous you want to be, and how experimental you want to be, I guess. Because even you last night, John, were doing a bit of experimenting in the livery editor with something. I don't think... Did you actually reveal to us what you were doing? I can't remember.
No, I don't think anyone came in the room, to be perfectly honest. Can't remember what was going on now, to be honest.
Remember you said you were going to you wanted to try something and see if it worked in the livery editor?
Yes, sorry, yeah. I was working on a BMW.
Okay.
And basically what I wanted to do, my line of work, we get a lot of European cars come in, all sort of big. What's the cap, by the way? I didn't see that.
Family car. It's an interesting category. Family car.
My dad's got an E30 BMW 325e as a project car.
Yep.
And with the late model BMWs in particular.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to find a family car.
Yeah, I am too. It's not exactly brimming with family cars in this game.
This will do.
It's basically a four-door car, whichever four-door car you can find.
Yeah, I don't see too many families in a Hellcat, but anyway.
No, and I'm in a Group BWRX, which likewise you wouldn't expect to see too many families in, but...
No.
Anyway, it's meant to brief.
It's a good category, it's clever.
Yeah.
So, he's got an E30 BMW, and what I wanted to do was try and put the M colours, the blue, purple and red, in the grille.
Okay, yep.
Like you see on a lot of late model M cars.
You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, well, I didn't know.
On the E30, yeah.
On the E30 you can't do it. I actually tried it on a late model M6, you couldn't do it.
No, the M6 grill you cannot. Sorry, that's my wheel. The E46 and the E92 I think you can, but the F80 you can't, and the M6 you can't. But the E30 you definitely can.
I tried it on the E30 and it worked. So I basically painted the car up as my old man wants it, i.e. colour coded this and black that and whatnot.
Yep.
And that's what I was doing.
Okay. Yeah.
So I basically just mocked up the M3, although his is an M3, it's largely the same car.
Yeah, that's right.
I just basically mocked it up to see what it would look like as a finished product. So I used the similar wheels and colour scheme and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
There you go. Very good. Yeah, my eye candy E30 and my 300 followers E30, I think I did. I think it was 300. Yeah. Seems like such a long time ago now. Both of those have the grills coloured a certain way. So yes, the actual rails in the grill can definitely be coloured. It's a little bit tricky to do down the top and the bottom of it, but you can arrive at a fairly clean spoke, probably is the word I should use, spoke of that grill.
Yeah, so that's what I was up to.
There you go. For those of you who are interested in Formula 1, this is the weekend that marks the start of the 2021 Formula 1 season. Practice 3 would be on soon, being broadcast live on most streaming services that cover sport, I guess. interesting this season, there's been lots of changes to both the driver lineups and also the cars. There's been effectively, well, not a freeze, but all but a freeze on car development, because the 2022 season will see a very significant change to the cars in terms of the drivetrain, in terms of the aero package. So those two things, and the wheels and tyres too, by the way.
What's the difference in the drivetrain package?
So they're going from these ridiculously small 1.6 litre V6 engines to 4-cylinder engines. It's rather astounding to hear that they're developing 1,000 horsepower out of a 1.6 litre V6 engine, but they are. And then on top of that, they obviously have the hybrid power, or the KERS system as they call it, kinetic energy recovery system. And Kelmac has joined. And so that's the biggest change. They will still be running hybrids, but they're going to a different engine. And then the aero itself, they're stripping back a lot of the aero to effectively try and all but get rid of the aero wash behind the car.
That bit I knew. I knew they were trying to sort of get rid of the aero wash, which is becoming more and more of a problem across the elite classes of racing these days. The VO supercars are going down a similar path.
Yeah, they are. You're right. And then the final thing is that what they're also doing is they're changing the wheel and tyres. They're going to an 18-inch rim, which will be really interesting because obviously that will mean a lot smaller sidewall, which in turn will mean that the tyres will probably degrade faster because there'll be a lot more flexing in the tyre going on. And they'll have to run obviously different air pressures to what they've traditionally ran, where they've run quite low tyre pressures. They're going to have to run significantly higher tyre pressures, I suspect.
What size wheel are they running now?
It's like a 13 or a 14 inch. It's tiny.
They're going to go 18s.
They're going to 18s. The F2s have already done it. They started doing it last year, and they're continuing to do it this year. And interestingly enough, the F2 wheel is almost the identical style to my favourite wheel in this game. Now, what's the category? Subaru or Mitsubishi? I can just stay here then. Don't even have to move.
Make things easy.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I'll be lazy. I could go and jump into another. Maybe I should go and jump into another car. Maybe it's a bit too lazy.
Well, I'm glad it's actually this one because this has brought out my my new livery.
The Synovus,
yes.
Yeah? Alright, we will come and have a look at that in just a second.
Yep.
Should I jump into something very different? If it's Subaru, I might jump into this car, one of my Turn 4 drift cars. So the move to the bigger wheels again will effectively make the racing more dynamic and entertaining, I believe.
Well, they didn't do something because it's been boring as batshit for the last...
Well, you say that, and I don't know how many races you watched in the abbreviated season last year, but what I can say is that the result has been too predictable in that the Mercedes cars have been by far and away the most dominant and all-round fastest cars at every race, basically. So that part has been rather boring. However, if you go past 1, 2 and 3, the racing in the mid-pack has been amazingly exciting.
I must admit, I stopped watching Formula 1 a little while ago because the racing was
It was processional.
Well, it was a bit like a Congo line, a bit like the V8s, I suppose.
Yeah, it was processional. But, you know, the introduction of the KERS and the DRS, or the drag reduction system, as the acronym stands for, has meant that there is a lot more overtaking, a lot more braking duels, and even a bit more of a strategy play that happens each lap, because the guys have so much extra energy stored in the batteries that they can make use of in each lap, and they have to become quite tactical when they use that, particularly if there is other cars near them, or if they're trying to attack and gain a position with another car. So you know, the racing last year was really, really good, and yeah, so this year I think it will be even more dynamic. And interestingly, in the practice, much like the pre-season testing in Bahrain, which happened 2 weeks beforehand, the final testing session, the Mercedes were not the fastest. The Red Bull has actually recorded the fastest lap times. McLaren are right up there in the mix as well, and they came third last year in the championship, so you would expect, in the team's championship, so you would expect them to be right up there, because for them, they've retained the same drivetrain, power plant, effectively the same chassis, albeit that all of the teams have had to make some minor changes to the cars this year, in line with some minor rule changes. Basically, they had to eliminate things in the floor tray that were adding aerodynamics, and they had to what's the word I want to use? Trim
it back a bit.
They had to remove elements of fairings and barge boards and things that were sitting at the front where the air intakes are, which again were obviously optimizing airflow around the front wheels and through and around the fuselage of the car. So yeah, so that has obviously impacted quite a lot of things with the cars. So it was a very a more evenly spread field in practice. Practice 2, which was on last night, so literally in the next hour or so, maybe even now, they might be about to start the final practice before qualifying, which happens later on tonight as well. So, and it's interesting with the new format too, that they're no longer doing the 4-day format. They've gone back to a 3-day format.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So for this year, there's basically nothing happens on the Thursday. The Friday is the start of the effectively the race weekend. So it means there's less practice sessions, or free sessions.
Also means less time if you bin the car in the first session.
Well, that's right. That's exactly right. And the sessions are also shortened.
Oh really?
Yeah, the practice sessions were 2 hours and an hour and a half, I think practice 2 was, from memory. Who had a win? SD somebody?
W.
Which car's that?
It's the white Subaru next to me.
Really?
It's quite a nice looking car, but... Oi.
Let me see.
Okay.
Where'd he go? Did he
disappeared.
He's
gone.
Out, did he? Yeah. Looked pretty plain to me, but anyway, each their own. So we seem to be getting a fairly decent group of people in the show, and they seem to be quite okay with the liveries. There's some people that aren't quite up to it, like Das, whatever his name is, just there, and the Swedish guy. I wish that guy'd stop dragging stuff back down to the car show area. You Synovus didn't get a Guernsey, mate. That's a bit harsh. Let's have a better look at it.
I must admit,
yeah, tell us about the car. Tell us about the actual livery.
It's based on the Alan Moffat EB Falcon that was raced at Bathurst between 93 and 96. Largely pretty much stayed the same apart from the bonnet. In 96 he had the Banana Boat sponsorship which took over the bonnet.
Yep.
This is more the 93, 94 sort of spec. I reckon it's one of the best looking V8 supercar liveries ever made. Bar one, maybe two. But as far
certainly
as
the colours are striking, aren't they?
Yeah, and it looked really good on track too.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, when it comes to the game, it's been a catastrophic failure in the lighting department. Got nothing.
Well, we said we would talk about that stuff, didn't we? And maybe we jump into the next car. Well, he hasn't said
I
yet.
don't know what the next car is.
It hasn't been announced yet by the judge, by the winner. But I'm going to exit to the pits anyway, in preparation. But yeah, when we come back out, we'll talk about that phenomena, as I called it, where you post a livery. It could be an absolutely fantastic livery, and then you sit back scratching your head wondering why 5 people, 10 people, 15 people, no more than that have indicated that they like your livery. It's quite a perplexing dynamic. Hold on, says the winner. He's thinking about it.
Oh, look out, JDM.
He says JDM. Okay, an Arab wanting JDM. Wow, that's unusual. Well, I shouldn't say he's Arab, he's from the Middle East. Most of those people, it's the Arabian area. Yeah, I'm sorry I was on phone. Okay, there you go. JDM it is. Most of us were just in JDM, weren't we? Is that 3 in a row? We've had effectively a Japanese country.
So where are we? Plenty to choose from.
Indeed.
Oh, I know what I'll try.
I might bring out Grolsha Vita.
Ah, your Skyline, eh?
Yeah,
just so
it's
happy
fairly
I'm in the
new.
Skyline.
I was going to bring out the Peter Jackson R33, but I don't think this has had a run on one of the shows yet, so I don't think, I could be wrong, I might have used it and talked about making delivery, I can't quite recall. Yeah, so the main sponsor on this, or the main logo, I shouldn't say sponsor, the main decal or logo on this car is Grolsch. Grolsch are not sponsoring me, even though I love their beer. I'm happy to give them a rap because they make beautiful beer, but they're certainly not a, there's no official connection or no official sponsorship from Grolsch. It's just I like their beer, so I decided to make a livery. My wheel is very grumbly tonight. Okay, so we see somebody in a plain turn 14 Subaru. So I was in that same car previous round. I got 3rd or 2nd or something.
And we've got someone in a Porsche Taycan, I think they call it.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Taycan bird.
So that car next to me, we talked about Brand Central. And that's exactly what that car is. That's Brand Central livery. You go into the Brand Central section of the game where you buy cars, and that car will be sitting there for you to buy, just as it is. Okay, so before we swap cars, there's Nemo, the GTR.
Someone found him.
Oh, someone found him. Yeah, that's right. We talked about this phenomena where we post a livery that we've created, or we share it, and anybody that goes into the section of the game called Discover can search for decals or pictures, whatever it might be, but certainly you can search for the livery, I should say. And yeah, sometimes you think you've created a really good livery and you post it, and as John said with his Synovus car, which I believe he created about 4 days ago, 5 days ago, maybe a little longer.
Yeah, within the last week.
Yeah. which, as you saw, was a lovely looking car and well done. How many likes have you had since you shared it?
I got my 6th one today.
So 6. Now, just so everybody understands, you've got quite a lot of liveries. What's the most number of likes that you've had on a livery?
The highest I'm on at the moment is about 78 or 80 or thereabouts.
So therefore, the Synovus car has gotten the equivalent of less than 10% of likes of your best car. And to go further with that, on average, your cars tend to attract somewhere between 20 and 40 likes, don't they? As an average.
Yeah, I get a lot of them in the sort of 30s and 40s. Yeah, they tend to. The little Volkswagen Golf I did, which I thought was going to go nowhere, has gone gangbusters. Just spare me 1 sec, sorry, the wife's come home.
Oh, well, how inconvenient.
Yes, I know.
John's wife, Nick, has obviously been out and about, but now she's home, so he obviously has to, do the usual "hi honey, I'm home" thing. While he's gone, we'll just continue talking about that. So John's Synovus car that you saw has only attracted 6 likes. He's done a Golf, which is a nice livery, and it is a race car replica, and it's a Mark 1 Golf, which is the early Golf, and he's done a great job. But it's not exactly what most people would probably regard as a pretty livery. John's done it faithfully and in great quality, but it's not what you'd call a pretty or gorgeous livery that you would lust after and say, "Oh, I want that on my car." It's quite austere. It's uses white and sort of tones of brown or orange, and so it's not what most people would look at and go, "Wow, that looks gorgeous." But yet he's, I believe, has got over 30 likes since he posted that about a week and a half ago. Yeah, Cat's GR4. We haven't even had a winner yet, apparently. Anyway, we'll do that. We'll go find a GR4 car. Hopefully I've got one. I know I've got lots. Well, my 2 newest cars in this fleet are that one, followed very closely by that one, and there's a sister car to that one somewhere. Where is that? Somewhere, and those as well. So I might bring that out, the Viper, just for something different. Yeah, so the whole thing about trying to understand what is it that users are generally either influenced by or attracted to, that makes some cars that you feel are not very nice at all get mountains of likes, and other liveries which you think are fantastic get hardly any. And John and I have worked on several themes as to why that is.
I'm back.
Yep, hi mate. For me, I think that a lot of it comes back to how many followers the person posting the livery has. I think that's a big factor in the range, if you like, or variation. The second thing is, I think that there is probably a fairly decent percentage of users that are incidentally looking for a livery because they just got a car, and they go into the Discover section to look at liveries, and they may be trying to get straight back out onto a track or to join a race group or to whatever, and their normal, I guess, process of showing appreciation may fall away, and they'll just grab a livery and disappear into their game without even thinking, "Oh, I didn't say thank you for that livery that somebody decided to share with me. So that's one theory. Another theory is that people can act in what I call a herd mentality. So they might be looking through the Discover section, they come across a livery that's got a high amount of likes on it, 300. I'll call anything that's 300 or more a very high like rate. And rather than those people actually looking at the object or the car livery objectively and make sure they really understand what's involved, they just see that so many people have liked it, so they think, I better do it too, because I don't want to be the odd one out, or I don't want to be, not doing what everybody else is doing. And so I think that plays a big part as well. John, any other themes that you can think of? John, are you there? Maybe he's not back. We'll ask him the question again in a minute. For me, whatever it is, I've sort of got to a point where sometimes it can irk me when I see what I regard as very basic or not great liveries that have hundreds of likes. And I think that person or that player has achieved that result. No, you're right. Has achieved that result not because their designs are brilliant, but because they just happen to have somehow acquired a large follower base. So, yeah. John, if you want to share your thoughts, I'm just talking about that whole thing about why car likes in the Discover section seem to vary significantly.
I think a lot of it's to do with the age. The average age of the people on here at the moment seems to be dropping a fair bit into the low 20s and late teens. So people like you and I, a bit of a dinosaur now, so everyone seems to be looking for things like Red Bull racing, Monster Energy liveries, all that sort of stuff, things we're not interested in. So I think that's largely the issue. And I think the other issue is, or contributing factor, is type of car you use.
Yeah.
You use a car that's very popular, like this blue Skyline that's next to me here. Sorry, blue Supra.
Yeah.
It's an immensely popular car, so if you put something like a Red Bull livery or a Monster Energy or something or Paul Walker livery,
Yes.
it gains a lot of popularity very quickly.
Yeah.
So, and I've mentioned before the amount of followers that people have for whatever reason, whether they follow them through other games and stuff like that, communities.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I didn't see who won, and I don't know what the category is. So we should have a look, shouldn't we?
You won.
Oh, I won, did I? What car are we in again?
We're in a group 4.
In Group 4. There you go, folks. My Group 4 Sprite Dodge Viper was successful, so I need to choose a cat. What should we go for? How about we go for Ford? Just something different. There we go. Let's run with that. People, what have we got? We got 8, haven't we? No, we got 6. We got 6, yeah. I think if you change the room title, I think that pushes it back up on the standard lobby list. I believe.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I believe. So if you changed, I don't know.
There we go. Just change the name.
Okay. 7. There you go, we've had an increase.
You beauty.
Yeah.
Liverpool? Ford.
Yes, Ford. And I better bring one out. Sitting here in my own little dream world.
So we're going to bring out something a little bit different.
I'm going to bring out this car because it is a new car, not the newest Ford, but it's certainly a newish car, and so it deserves to have a bit of a debut. Let's wait till I'm out of the tunnel before I give you a look at the car so you can see it in some sunlight. There we go. I apologise that my head-up display blocks some of the front of the nose, but hopefully you can see other views and, oops, see what it looks like. I'm the judge, aren't I? My brain certainly has had the day off. Oh, Jon-Nic in a very period correct. XA GT, I'm thinking, on a Mustang body. XB, is it?
Well,
ah, okay.
Well, it's actually not quite a GT, it's actually a John Goss special.
Aha! And what came with the John Goss special?
I don't really know, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Flashy paint, I know that much.
Yep.
It came in this green or a blue with like a yellow striping underneath it. Came with special wheels, 302 V8. I think it had a 4-speed manual. Yeah, it was just more of a signature model than a sort of high spec model, I suppose.
Okay, I think that's everyone, so as we get underway. Yeah, it looks good anyway.
Thank you.
So we got a Mustang, a Mustang, a Mustang, a Mustang, and a truck. Okay. Blazer. Blazer with the teeth. Not a fan of the teeth. Don't see the point, but anyway. Very basic Mustang from SDW. Kelmac and a... nice. And a Focus. MHMD. Is that a drug? MHMD? It sounds like a drug. Is in a plain black Tundra. What do you do about that in a car show? Maybe I just pretend he's not there. Okay. Don't know what happened then. I couldn't get my button to work properly. What I want to say is Lollyphone third. Is damn good. Okay. Call you when I need you. Heart's hearts on fire.
Ooh, thank you very much. Well, look, Jon-Nic, we've got reviews.
Well, I do like his, but I'm pretty sure I judged it before, and I think if I think about the fact that you've had to make your livery work on a different donor car, to me the combination of that made it a more easier decision to pick yours.
Fair enough.
Oh, Daz Arstle's joined us. Wow. That's unusual. Corvette road car. They have one or two of them.
Yes, I have a couple.
Manufacturer. We might take a short break on the broadcast in another 5 to 10 minutes and then work out what we're going to do, or whether we're going to recommence the broadcast. We're going for an hour and 17 minutes. What'd you say? Corvette road car. Oh, I hardly bring this one out. I might bring this one out. I thought we might see Swanee tonight and Stuart, but doesn't appear to be the case.
Blazers
here. Blazers here, yeah. Disasterly was in here too.
Is that it? Just the 5 of us?
I think that might be the case. I'm saying like I can't. Did you say hi? My car's a livery I've done a long time ago. Don't bring it out very often. Let's go for a bit of a look. It'll be a very short look. Old Corvette. Newer Corvette. Newer Corvette. Third. So we do one more round and we wrap it up.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let's see what Khan will give us as the final round. Your favourite car? We have technically had this category already.
Favourite livery?
Yeah, I'm going to run with a... I think I'm going to run with a Nike one. I think. Even though I like the Motul one better. Actually, you know what? In reality, the McLaren is my favourite livery. Where is it? Come the bumper. There we go. Oh, what? Wrong tyres. Deary me. Raising softs. So yes, this will be our last round, folks. Broadcast will probably end up being an hour and 30 minutes by the time this round is completed. If you do happen to watch it, please subscribe to our channel. The more subscribers we get, the more focused we are on putting good shows together.
Scripted shows.
Let's not get carried away there. We might be forced to steal some beer coasters from the local pub to draft some things on the back of.
An old napkin, or maybe even a bar mat. Back of a bar mat.
Get really creative and just kidnap a barmaid who's able to take dictation.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, that's a plan. Of course, I'm all for women's equality. I just find that female barmaids listen better.
They're not as prone to drink the beer you ordered.
That's right. So I hope you've enjoyed this broadcast. It's been a full car show broadcast, and we've tried to share with you elements of the car show. We've talked about the liveries themselves. We've talked about judging a little bit. We haven't talked about it a lot. I guess while we're waiting for the judge to go around, I think the things that I think about when I'm judging cars is the quality of the livery, the complexity of the livery, and the imagination behind the livery, and then obviously how well do they all come together to create what is really a very impressive looking car. You know, people will say, oh, I'm going to pick that car because I like that car over that car. Well, I try to not zero in on that when I'm judging. I'm generally just looking at the livery and what does it do to the car. Okay, so McLaren has cleaned up on the last round of the show. John, any closing comments for anybody that might watch the broadcast?
Yeah, hope you enjoy. Goodbye.
Short, succinct, and to the point. Well done. Yeah, look, folks, we hope that you have enjoyed what we've broadcast tonight. We thought we might do some other things, but as it was, the car show stayed alive, as they say, for the duration. So maybe the next warp drive we do, which I don't know when that will be, hopefully soon, we might do something else. We might do roll-a-thon, we might do some races. I still want to do a VGT Cup. I'm determined to do a VGT Cup with the BMWs. We had a bit of a aborted launch last night, unfortunately, but that's okay, things happen. So, we'll see you all next time. I hope you have enjoyed the show. Please stay COVID safe wherever you are, and be kind to all of your friends and family and just the general public around you. We can spread as much love as COVID if we think about it, so let's try and do that instead. Alrighty folks, take it easy, see you next time, bye for now.